Hi there. Dick Francis, 4 complete novels. An omnibus of sorts. Odds Against, Flying Finish, Bloodsport, and Rat Race. And this is from the cover. The world of Dick Francis thriller. Let me begin again. The world of a Dick Francis thriller is one where beneath an apparently ordinary surface lies an underbelly of evil. Corruption, violence, and murder. Francis, formerly a jockey and currently an amateur pilot, is the best-selling author of 24 novels, including Twice Shy and Banker. He sets his tautly written suspense novels against authentic and vivid backgrounds of horse racing, horse breeding, and training. In addition to the world of stable and track, 3 of the 4 novels collected here also involve airplanes and flying, which adds another dimension of excitement to hair-raising stories involving heroes who are reluctantly and ineluctably drawn into a tangled web of violence and human evil. Odds Against is an expertly written mystery that traces the making of a great detective and the unmaking of a supremely evil man. Sid Haley's ex-jockey works without enthusiasm as a private detective, a job he'd taken 2 years earlier after a crippling accident on the race course ended his writing career. With the collapse of his marriage, Haley lost his enthusiasm for life, until, during a routine blackmail case surveillance, a bullet nearly took the choice out of his hands. Haley's father-in-law then introduces him for reasons he only hints at, to a wealthy mineral collector of his acquaintance, a meeting that draws Haley into a complicated case of land speculation, stock manipulation, fraud, and murder. For Henry Gray, in Flying Finish, life holds the prospects of an inherited earldom in a decaying family mansion, the much-to-be-avoided possibility of marriage to a local heiress, and a dull job at Angela Bloodstock Agency. In order to avoid an existence as colorless as his name, Henry fills his spare time as a freelance jockey to an amateur pilot. Then life really changes when Henry takes a job as a head groom for a company that transports horses by air. He stumbles onto a penny ante tax fraud scheme and suddenly finds himself in big trouble involving international intrigue, treason, and the smuggling of classified secrets by a cold-blooded gang that will let nothing stand in the way of its goals. Bloodsport opens with Jean Hawkins, civil servant, a euphemism for a job as a cracked internal security agent for Her Majesty's government, facing his 2-week holiday with dread, deeply embittered, sick of the solitude his job requires, and of living always with one hand on his gun. Hawkins would like nothing better than to use the weapon on himself. Sensing this, his boss suggests a holiday come routine insurance investigation in the United States. Hawkins reluctantly agrees and begins his search for a very valuable racehorse that has disappeared, uncovering a peculiar fraud scam involving a dude ranch in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, and a stud farm near Las Vegas. And as Hawkins investigates, he learns a great deal about himself, and finds himself falling in love with his boss's charming 17-year-old daughter. Finally, in Rat Race, the reluctant hero is pilot Matt Shore, drummed out of his job with a commercial airline for breaking Board of Trade flying regulations. In order to avoid a mid-air disaster, he faces life indifferently and alone as he flies for a small air taxi service. Shore is on a routine run, ferrying a party between race courses when his plane explodes on the ground. This is just the first incident in a deadly chain of events that draws the unwilling pilot into the swirling depths of a major racing insurance fund swindle. Readers who enter the mysterious world of Dick Francis will find themselves unable to stop reading until they know all the solutions. often not until the very last page. They will find themselves in places where the heroes and villains are as real as the people next door, where the action moves as swiftly as a horse straining for the finish, and where the endings are as dramatic and satisfying as a safe landing after a harrowing plane flight. Yeah, that is Dick Francis. Odds against, blind finish, blood sport, and rat race, complete and unabridged. And this is, should note, it's an omnibus edition by Avenel Books. Avenel Books. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.